I've had a few people asking how I do a fill on my clients. Today I'm going to be doing a fill on one of my hands. I'm going to show you from the beginning how I shape the nails with my E-File and how I apply the gels. And to start with here, I'm just giving them some shaping. I'm removing length and I'm trying to shape them into, I have what is a coffin shape. So I'm using my porcelain drill bit to do that. By the way, the porcelain drill bit is my favorite. I've used a lot of different ones. It's great. You don't feel that transfer of heat when you're using it. You can go right up against the cuticles and you don't have any cutting. It has a safety end on it, which is wonderful. So anyways, right now, like I said, I'm removing the length on each one of them. And then I'm gonna go in and start filing the tops when I get that done. And we're going to be looking for any lifting, and I'm a firm believer in going right down and removing any lifting whatsoever. You don't want to have any lifting, or there's a possibility of getting fungus on your nails, and I, knock on wood, have never had that happen with a client. So it's worth taking the time to make sure you remove all the gel where it needs to be before you start with your primers and your bonding layer and your sculpted gels. Once I get this thumb shaped, I'm going to go back and I'm going to start filing away all the gel off the fingers. This bit is great for removing it quite quickly. This is where I'll go and I'll shape them a little better too, if I'm not quite happy with when I first started doing it. Sometimes you'll get on the nail when you're filing, you'll get an air bubble. You'll see it under the gel and it'll just be like a little pocket that's a little more cloudy. So what you'll have to do is go over it until the air bubble is gone, and you just don't want to leave those either because of fungus. Make sure and remove those. It doesn't happen very often that you'll get an air bubble, but it does happen. And you want to get the natural nail bed too. You want to lightly buff it so that the layers of gel stick to it and bond properly. I don't tend to do my nails too long at the beginning because by 3 weeks they're quite long, and with the fact that I'm e-filing, my clients' nails will catch them, so I don't want to be doing that. I like to turn my fingers and my clients to make sure you get in there and along the edges too. You don't want any lifting left along there. You can kind of tell where the lifting is. It will always be a little bit whiter where there is a little lifting. And you never want to put the bit right on the nail for a long period of time. You want to keep moving it around because it will get some burning sensation and you don't want to be damaging your client's nails. Okay, once I get this thumb done, we're gonna move on to the gel layers. I can show you how I sculpt them. Again, I'm moving the file all around quickly because you don't want to leave it in one spot too long or it will burn. Even though this drill bit is amazing that way, it doesn't get the heat like some of them do. Okay, once I'm done my thumb here, I'm going to grab my brush and just get rid of all the dust. And I'm going to grab my nail prep, and that's, you want to spray that and wipe all the dust off, and it's also for removing the oils in the nail so that the primers and bonders bond correctly. Helps to stop from the nails and gels from lifting. My favorite primer is the Star Nails Extra Strength Primer. You just go over all the natural nails with it. And before you start with the bonding layer, you want to make sure that this primer is dry. My favorite gel is the Amore line. I'm using the bonding layer here, and the trick with the bonding layer is you want to use a firmer brush because you want to just put a very thin layer on, and you want to push down hard. It's a trick I've learned over time that it stops clients from having lifting just by putting firm pressure on this layer and very thin. After I'm done this layer, I'm going to stick it in an LED light for 60 seconds. And then when I'm done this nail, we'll stick it in the light, and then when we finished with that, we're gonna move on to the sculpting layer, which is going to be a little bit thicker than this layer. It's called Cachet Pink Cool. It looks quite pink, but it's more of a natural look when it goes on the nail. It's great for hiding any imperfections, like little white spots, which you do see on clients, and that's from them lightly bumping their nails. And nails don't just go away, they have to grow out. So this is great for hiding that, and great for overlays as well. You can put this on either very thick or in between. I tend not to put it on too thick because I still have to apply color and what is called a sculpting layer shine to the top. I don't just put a thin layer on the top. I make sure everything's nice and smooth and filled in before I'm finished. So it's called Sculpt and Shine, and gives a great shine at the end, but it also makes my nail to the thickness I want. So you can see when I'm applying the Cachet Pink Cool, I'm turning the nail to the side. I'm looking to make sure that they have a good C-curve. I'm also looking to make sure that the nail is all filled in evenly. So that's why I do the side profile of the nail when I'm working with it. And it's stringing the gel. You're not pushing down on it at this point. You're just making sure that it just strings across and it self-levels itself. Of course, if you've seen, I sometimes will just use my nail of my other finger just to make sure there's no gel touching the cuticles on the sides or the skin. Now I'm taking a form. I'm missing a little corner on this nail, so I want to add to that. So when you put forms on, you want to make sure they're flush with the nail. If they dip down at all, you're going to have gel under the nail, and you don't want that. So as long as they're flush with the nail, you're good to go. And then you just do the same as the other nails, except you're adding a little bit of a corner on the one side. If it's not perfect on that one corner, that's all right, because after I'm finished sculpting the nails, I'm going to remove the inhibition layer and I'm going to file them till I'm happy with the shape before applying the color to them and the designs. I'm using my dotting tool just to remove a little bit of the gel along the edges to make sure it's not touching the cuticle or the skin. If you have any questions about how I'm doing this or anything you're not quite sure about, just feel free to ask me below. I'll try and help you the best I can. I've been doing nails for 7 years now, so you kind of learn a lot of tricks over the years. As As you can see, sometimes I'll add a little bit of gel on the sides of the nail just to give it the shape I want if it's not quite where I want it to be. And then again, when I file, I'll make sure they're nice and coffin shaped in the end. On my last finger here, you'll find with a thumb you tend to have to do a lot more of the side profile. Of course, a wider nail, so a lot more grooves and indents to fill in, and a lot more. I find I string a lot more with this nail. Thanks everybody for watching my video, and again, if you have any questions or comments about my fill I did, please let me know.